Hello, 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 hello. How are you, good people? Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad that you made time to be here with us. And today we'll just have a short session where we'll be learning about a little bit about how to create beats. It's been a long time since we last had a session together, and I'm grateful to God for giving us this opportunity to learn together. I don't know if you have already tuned in. If you have just made it here right now, thank you for joining in. We are glad that you're here. I would like to know if the audio is okay so that when we hit the road running, we are well and good. I don't know who is here already because we want to begin. So today we want to really have a discussion on how to create or make beats, or what other people call performance tracks, other people call instrumentals, whichever name works for you. That's what we want to do today. And as you've seen in my previous video, the DAW that we'll be using is Studio One, but this can work with any DAW. So I would like to hear, if you've already joined us, just say something so that I know you're here, so that we can be able to begin. I can see there's some 2 people watching. Hezekiah Mageto, thank you for confirming that the audio is okay. Let me just set up our Studio One and we'll be up and running. Yes, if you've just tuned in, we are talking about how to create beats, how to make beats in Studio One. And as I've said, this can work in any other DAW. So brace yourself for a very wonderful journey. And this will be interactive. We will be having a discussion in the live chat. I'll be following what you tell me so that, so that we can share and see how do we go about this? How do we go about this? So Hezekiah, welcome. I'm hoping some more people will be joining us even as we go ahead. So Hezekiah, kindly tell me have you created beats before? Because it seems you're the one I have here. Have you created beats before? What do you use? Are you a pianist? Of course, when it comes to beat creation, most of us make it using the piano. And even here, we'll be using it. So Hezekiah, tell me, and the people who have joined in, we've said today we are creating beats. We are talking about how to make beats or performance tracks or instrumentals, as you may like it. Have you created one before? What DAW do you use? Or if you use a piano, what series do you use? Today we'll be using Studio One. Just comment there so that I know we are together. Yes, so I'm waiting to hear from you. My people. I'm waiting to hear from you. Tell me, have you created beats before, and what did you use to create beats? Yes. So yeah, I think we are good to go. So let me just put this up on the screen. I've just started a new session of Studio One. If you've used Studio One before, any other DAW, this should be easy. You just come here, say new song, and you'll be having your session over there. So if you can be able to see this on your screen, so that I just confirm we don't go ahead and you're not following, just help me confirm that you can see this on the screen. And maybe probably I should find a way of pulling my face somewhere there as well. Let me find a way of pulling my face somewhere here. Yes, so welcome. If you've just joined us right now, we are talking about how to create beats in Studio One. That's what we are doing today. I believe now it should be okay. You should be able to see my face. So I was asking Hezekiah, who I saw had joined quite early, what do you normally use to create your beats? I can see Caleb Mashari has joined. He says, I use FL Studio. That's nice. Ezekiel says, I'm new in creating beats, but I've done it only on piano. Actually, this is more or less the same way, the same concept, because when it comes to creating beats, one thing that really matters most is creativity. At the back of it all, it's creativity. Whether you have the best piano, you have the best samples, it will all end up in terms of creativity. So we will just try and create something simple. Maybe let's try with, let's make something, let's say about 16 bars, or let's say 8 bars. So you will tell me what kind of beat would you want us to create? Do you want an upbeat or a more emotional kind of beat? I think it would be good to know, so that I follow what you tell me. What kind of beat do you think we should create? An upbeat or something emotional, something slow? I'm waiting for your comments so that it will help me choose on what we will be doing. So what do we do? Tell me, what do you feel like today? An upbeat, the first person to comment, that's what we'll follow. Do you want us to do an upbeat, or do you want us to do something a bit slow, something a bit emotional? For the people who are new here, in the previous videos, we discussed about introduction to Studio One. That's why I'm not going up there, how to use Studio One. But the videos, once you go through this channel, you will be able to find those videos on how to go about Studio One. But for creating beats, we will come from scratch. Ezekiel Mageto is saying country touch. So is country touch upbeat? Is it slow? I just want those two distinctions. And then somebody else maybe choose a key that we'll work on. Choose a key. Let me even remove this instrument so that we will start from scratch. Choose a key that we'll work on. Is country upbeat, or is it slow? Hezekiah, kindly tell me, do you want upbeat or slow? That's what we want to know, and then we'll move on. Then somebody else choose a key so that we can start working. I can see there are 4 people watching. You need to talk so that we move. You need to talk. We have so far been on the live for 10 minutes. We should be moving. As I told you today, it will be an interactive session. So Hezekiah, tell me, you want upbeat, slow? You have just said country music, and then somebody else tell us a key that you'd want us to work in. Okay. Hezekiah said something slow, something slow. So I'm going to choose a tempo of about, let's say 60. So our tempo is here. You can just type in, the tempo you want over there. So let's say 60. I'm going to switch on our metronome. I hope the sound of Studio One gets to you. Let me just confirm something. I don't think you're getting that sound, so let me just sort it out in a short while. Sorry, you have to see my backside of the studio. Yes, there we go. And I think if we put this, you should be able to hear. I don't know if you can be able to hear that metronome. If you can, it would be nice to confirm so that we move forward, because it seems not to be coming out. Somebody has said, let's deal with the key of G. So everyone wants slow. Hezekiah has said slow. Pilgrim has said slow, Fred. And I think it's fair enough to, if you picked the slow version, let's pick the key from Caleb. Caleb is saying E flat. Can you hear the metronome? Just confirm that we can be able to hear the metronome, because I'm not so sure from my end whether you can hear what I'm hearing. I'll quickly pick up a piano and put over here. So let me stop using shortcuts. Let me stop using shortcuts so that we are together. So you can just come up here, say track, then add an instrument track. Yes, let's call this. Do you want to start with a piano? Let's start with a guitar. And I'll pick something from Yamaha, which almost all of us can relate with. I don't know if you can hear the metronome at the back. Nobody has mentioned whether you can hear the metronome. So, yeah. So under my browse window here, I want to choose contact, so that I can pick Yamaha. Contact is right here. So it is as simple as dragging it over there and allow it to load. Somebody saying, nay, can't hear anything. Let me just put up a guitar, then we'll see. If the guitar won't be heard, we will sort it out, no problem. Okay. Let me just go. I think we are good. From my back studio, it shows you should be able to hear Pilgrim Fred. So, just that the metronome, I think the metronome is a bit quiet, but yeah. So you have to have a metronome that is going to help you stay on beat. I think that's the same concept even when you're doing it on the Yamaha keyboards. So probably let's, of course you need to come up with with an idea. I even don't know the song we're going to work with here. I think we can just create something from scratch. Let's see. Not working for me well. All right. Okay, let's see. I don't know. We could try that. We could try that. So, I'm going to take my cursor to the very beginning. You can use this arrow over there and take it to the very beginning. So you have two options here. You can just decide to record. When you decide just to record, it means the moment you press record, you should start, because it will start recording. The other option is you could set a pre-count by pressing over here, just underneath here, close to your metronome. Just activate this pre-count. So it will give you a 1 bar count before you start. So this is 4/4. It will give you 1, 2, 3, then it starts recording. The moment you choose to record. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and all right, so we have something rough there. We have something rough there. Let's play it back with you. I think I didn't hear the tempo quite well at the beginning, but no problem. Let's try and let's just redo that. Let's redo that. Sometimes they say producers are perfectionists. I hope I'm not one of those. 1, 2, 3, and all right, so we have something there. Most people, okay, I don't know if it's most people, but for me, I normally like starting with a chord structure. Definitely, in most cases, you'll get a singer. A singer wants you to make for them a beat, so they already have a song, which means you need to listen to the song and get a progression that suits it. Then once you get that, you may want to try it out, and yeah. So for me, I would like to start with sorry about this. To start with the chord progression, and you can use any instrument, of course. People may decide to play those chords with an organ, a piano, a guitar. I've chosen a guitar today. So somebody's asking, allow me to ask, you are pressing a piano as you record? Yes, I have a piano here, a MIDI piano. It's a Keystation 88M audio, but you can use any keyboard. Actually, right now, any modern keyboard can be used as a MIDI keyboard. So long as you have that MIDI slot behind there, you can be able to fix it. So here we have something. So I think we want to make sure it's on beat. So we are going to quantize. So I'll come up here where it's written Q, and I'm going to quantize. And I think I want to put it to the value of, let's try a quiver, the value of a quiver, 1/8. Same thing you meet on the Yamaha keyboards as you program, as we most likely like calling it. So now that I've chosen an 8th note, so I'm going to press Q to make sure it's quantized. So let's listen to it. All right, so if you listen very well, that first part, I didn't quite press the pedal, the very first chord. The beauty about making beats using a DAW, a digital audio workstation, is you can go and record just one particular parameter, because when you're recording through MIDI, it's recording every information on its own. Volume is on its own, sustain is on its own, modulation is on its own. So it means even if I have made a mistake, let's say I modulated differently, I can go back and record on top of it, but I'll only record the modulation now and maybe push the modulation wheel as I would love to. So I'm going to re-record the sustain. So I'm not going to play the piano. I'll just press record, and then I'll be pressing my pedal. You can see when I press my pedal, it is being captured there as information coming in. When I use my modulation wheel, you can see. When I use this is called pitch bend, you can see what is happening there. If I use my volume knob, you can see it's also being recorded over there. So I'm going to start recording, and now I'll just record the sustain alone. 1, 2, 3, and I missed it. 1, 2, 3, and I think you can see the information there. If you see that graph, it's how I'm pressing the sustain pedal. And you can even go ahead and draw it if you don't have a pedal. Anyway, there we go. So I want to duplicate this. So this ends on bar 4. So let me just do it up to there. And if you want it to snap to the bar, there's something here we call toggle snap. Hey, that English is hard. Toggle snap. So if it is not activated, this thing moves to any place. Even if you stop here, it will stop there. But if it's activated, it will only stop where the quavers are, according to what you have set as your quantizing value. So you can see it. Yeah, so we are sure that we have stopped at the end of bar 4. So we are going to duplicate this. So the long cut of doing it is just right click. Yeah, that's right click. Right click and press duplicate. All right. The other option, let me undo. Undo is the same thing you've been doing, Control Z. So the other option is just press D, and you have duplicated that. And you can duplicate as many times as you want. But today, let's stick it at 16 bars. So let's listen in. All right, so that's good. What instrument do you think we should add here in? What instrument do you think we should add? Maybe a string, maybe drums. What do you think we should add? I said this will be interactive, so I would really be happy if you can talk to me, so that we know what we are adding here. What instrument should we add? I can see there's still 2 people following. So long as we have even 1 person following, we will proceed. So what instrument should we add in here if you're still following, so that we move forward? We already have our guitar there. Maybe let's do a string. Let's do a string. And for string, I'm going to use Omnisphere. So just like we have different voices on the piano, or on the keyboard rather, those sounds that we have there, we call them sound patches, even on the keyboards. So they are the same things we have here. In my computer, I have quite a number. So I'm going to choose one from Omnisphere. Omnisphere is by a company called Spectrasonics. They have very, very wonderful instruments over here. So I'm going to choose an instrument called a Dagio. You people have decided to keep quiet, so I'll just choose. And there are several options here. I'm going to choose maybe something warm. Oh, I can see Hezekiah Mageto is saying woodwind instrument 2. Pilgrim is saying strings and some drums. So I will go in that order: strings, woodwind, and some drums. Some work here. So make sure you name your instrument, and you have to arm. If you have done recording before, whether it's for voice or whatever, you need to arm that track so that when you record, you're recording to that particular track, and don't arm a track that you're not using. I think that's well understood. So we're going to the very beginning. I'll just play quickly and see how what we might put here. course, for learning purposes, you'll forgive me even if it's rough. We'll use it that way. I know it's very rough, but yeah. 1, 2, ready. That's so bad. That's so bad. That is so bad. That is terribly bad. And I could decide probably I don't want to have a lot of repetition. So because the guitar I recorded just 4 bars and I made a lot of repetitions, maybe I record let's say 8 bars so that we get to hear something different maybe every other time. But for me, normally for my strings I play probably up to the end of the song. 1, 2, but it's of course according to your taste. And I think we could stop there. I think we could stop there. So we wanted to do up to maybe, let's say, bar 9, thereabouts. So I'm going to delete. Yes. So if you want to go inside there and edit, maybe, like you can see, I played some chord at the very end of bar 8. I want to remove that. So you just double click. Once you double click, it will bring you to the editing window. And these are the notes you have been playing. So I want to look at this last chord and delete the whole of it. Yeah, and probably I should mention something here. There is also the option of, in this edit window, there's a lot you can do. There's a lot you can do. You could decide to, maybe I didn't want this note to be this note. I wanted maybe it to be an A. So I'll just take it up, right, until you get the A that you wanted. But let me take it back to where it was. I think there, somewhere there. Redo delete events. Yes. So there we have it, and I'm going to duplicate it. For strings, in most cases, I don't like to quantize. I want them to remain natural. But of course, it's according to taste. You may decide to quantize. Now I'm going to, I had mentioned that you can actually record the volume. You've had people with music that sounds dynamic. It sounds more of orchestral kind of thing. It's not very flat. So I'm going to record the volume for my strings. So I already have the notes there. I'm just going to record, and I'll be playing with the volume knob, taking it up and taking it down. And this can be done even with your Yamaha keyboards. So 1, 2, ready, and this was something rough, but you get the point. The point is you can record, you can get to record the volume alone. So let me just cut over here and copy paste. Let me just cut there. If you remember our option for cutting, let me just repeat that. You have these tools over here. This is your arrow tool or select tool. So this is the one I'm using for cutting. and you can use number 3 to choose it. So I'm just going to come exactly here and cut it because I've only recorded the volume up to bar 8. So I'll duplicate that. There we go. So we are going to, don't know what's wrong with my camera, it keeps going off. I think I should just take it off. We are going now to add some, what did you say? We're going to add some, did you say? Oh, woodwind. Let's add some woodwind over here. Let's add some woodwind. And we have about 15 minutes and we should be out of here. So I'm going to, let me add another track. The simplest way of adding an instrument track, just come and choose what you want in your browse window. Browse window is here. We have a mix window, edit window, and browse. So activate your browse window. Choose the instrument that you want. I want to choose Kontakt, and I'll just drag it there and it will create a track for me. So I want to choose something from Berlin Orchestra Inspire 2. Let's try Inspire 2. We want a single solo instrument. So single instrument, sections, woodwind, he said. Solo oboe. Let's try solo oboe. I even don't know what we'll play. I'm going to choose, let's say, let's try a sustain oboe. Somebody chose the key I've just remembered, and I didn't I didn't maintain the key. So just allow me to switch off this camera because it's not doing as well. Allow me to switch off that camera. Yes. So let's try this. 1, 2. To take this string slightly low so that I can be able to follow. So you can simply go to your mix window and you'll get that kind of mix console there. So I'm going to go to my strings. Let's see which one is strings. This one here, I don't know, I didn't name it, strings. And let's just take it. That volume is okay. So we have our guitar there and our oboe. All right. So let's go back. Let's deactivate that. 1, 2. Stop somewhere there. Let's just try and balance them. This other instrument is a bit too loud. Somebody said drums, so I'm going to add drums quickly. I'm going to add drums, and I've already shown you the shortcut of bringing up your instrument tracks. For this one, I'm going to use, it's been long since I used this. Let's see, addictive drums. Let's see what addictive drums will give us. Are you guys still awake? It's loading. These things can be quite heavy on the machine. So here we have addictive drums. Let me choose. There are several options you can choose from here according to what makes you happy. But I think, let's see. How does this sound? Let's see this. Let's choose this. All right. I think this is good to go. I hope these drums will work for you, Mr. Fred. All right. Let's redo that to ready and let's quantize that. So remember, you just press Q and you'll have quantize. Make sure you have selected that particular track. Let's duplicate. Let's duplicate up to the end. Of course, you can feel free to add anything in there. If you want to come inside there and maybe, I don't know, write some other notes there, or you want to play some more, you can actually play on top. There's no problem. Some people decide, I want to record my kick drum first, then snare, then record the rest later. That's still fine. It's acceptable. You can record them one by one, actually. Let me just probably show that here from bar 13. I'm going to just do the kicks 1, 2, 3, and I can come back and now do maybe hi-hats if I wanted to do it that way. So it will just record on top as many times as you want. Let me just undo that. I think there we go. And maybe I'll just do a bass. Of course, when it comes to creating beats, you know, you need to take time, get a groove that you like, get some good chords, get some things that fill up. I think the biggest idea that is there for you to have good instrumentation is to make sure you create space for other instruments. I can't come and I play. Let's say I played guitar, like you play a guitar like the piano, the way you'd play a piano. Then you come also with your strings and do the same thing. Even if you do a high octave, they are taking the same rhythm and somehow the same notes, which means they will be fighting for space. You can hear your guitar was trying to do some arpeggio. And then your strings came in trying to fill in, but they were just playing mostly on the main chords. You get the idea. You want to give the instruments space to breathe. And if you get this concept, you can be able to add as many instruments as you want, as literally as many instruments as you want. And by as we are almost ending this thing, I think I'll try and play something that I've done before. Anyway, so I think we could probably do a bass. Let's do a bass. Fred, do you think a bass would be okay? Let's do a bass. I'll still choose Omnisphere. Sorry, I didn't name this. Let me call this drums. Drums. It's very good to name. Assuming you have a session of 32 instruments, you will come and struggle when you want now to mix these instruments. So I'll still choose Omnisphere. So inside here, I'm going to choose Trillion. Trillion is my library of bass. I want to choose. Let's choose a bass that people know. Let's choose Fender. Fender. I think most people of us know Fender. So let's go with Fender Full Range. Let it load. Yeah, that's the sound of a Fender. I'm sure you people, once you get a hold of this, you do miracles with it. So just a moment. So we have our Fender there. And this is our bass. Let's just call it bass. Let's try and see. Actually, our song does not have an ending at the very end, so maybe we create a quick ending somewhere here. Let's create an ending here. So let's start with if you want to just play one instrument, just press the S, you will solo that. So I want to create an ending. let's quantize that. Just press your Q and you have quantized. So as you've seen, I've just recorded on top. The same thing you do with vocals, what you call overdubbing, you can still do the same with your instrument. So let's do the same to our strings. Okay, make sure you've armed the right instrument. That sounded wrong. I think there's a chord there we have not managed to remove. This one over here. This one that is hiding over there. So let's just select and delete. There's still one not lingering there. Delete it as well. And we can go back. Alright. Let's record. The shortcut in Studio One is star. Good. I think drum is okay for now. Now let's go to our bass, the one we were waiting for. The one we were waiting for. Let's do our bass. Let's do our bass. I will just record 1, 2, 3, and. Missed something there, but it's okay. We'll sort it out later. We missed 2 notes there. Played our own stuff, but it's okay. Let's see. I think somewhere here. I think somewhere here. Where was it? There. So you can just go inside your, as we said, you just double click your track and you'll go to the editing window and you can pinpoint which note went wrong. That one. Da. If you know the exact note, just look for it. If you need to listen, just scroll up or down. So I was using the, those arrow buttons, up and down, yeah. So that it should sound nice now. Yes, perfect, wonderful. So let's listen to this one note which also went quite wrong at the very end. It's supposed to be an F. Huh? Da. Are. Yeah. So we want to make sure, of course, if you want to resize your track, just go to the end of your track, and once you get that kind of icon you see there at the end, you can use it to drag back or yes. So there we go. We have not quantized. Let's quantize. down, down, down. So let's quantize. I hope it will behave. Let's listen through. I think we need to use maybe a 16th. So somebody may ask, what, I don't know if this, probably I'm assuming, somebody may ask, why, what makes you choose a 16th or an eighth or a quarter note when you're quantizing? I may want to explain what quantizing is. Of course, naturally as humans, we can't keep to the beat, exactly to the beat. What quantizing does is it takes your instruction. If you say push these beats to the nearest quarter note or quiver note or 16th note, so that's why you're choosing these things over here. So assuming I was just playing bum 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 bum, you can hear those. They're just coming on the main beat. So even if I choose quarter notes, it should be fine because quarter notes are ta, 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 ta. So they will be pushed to the nearest quarter note. But if you can hear in this bass, I had some runs in between. Like I think it's better to just do it. I can't call them runs per se, but some notes which were coming in quite some quick succession. So let's say like here. You see? So something like that. If I say that now quantize, let me select all of them and say quantize according to a crotchet. You see what's happening? It's really going to mess up your beat. Listen to this. You see that? They have all been pushed to the nearest crotchet. You see that? So some of them will start appearing like chords, and this was not your intention. So let's undo that. If I say I'm going to use a quiver, that is 1/8 or an eighth note, to quantize. Let me quantize. Just press Q. See what is happening here. Some are okay, but some, you see, it's not working quite well. So I think 16th note will work well for us here. I trust that it will work well. So I've just pressed undo. I've used the 16th value. Let's quantize. Let's see. Better. Good. I think you can also agree that value worked perfectly well for us. Wow. Of course, it's not the best beat somebody would make, but for purposes of learning, I think we are on the right track. So probably I may take a few questions, even as I think we are almost wrapping this up, because I think some of you may want to go and sleep. We can't go past 10 p.m. So if there will be questions, I will take them. If there will be none, I will see if we can add one instrument or two. I'll also show how we can change this to audio, how to export, and yeah, I think that will be good for today. So long as we have people who are willing to learn, I think, okay, and every every week, even if it's twice. Okay, every week. Let's say every week. Margeto, are you still here? I can see Margeto says sounds great. Yeah, I want to know if there are any questions. I said when it comes to music production, it's really subjective because what sounds good to one may not sound good to another, but there are basic principles that work for everyone. And when I was talking about making a beat, I was trying to show how you can add instruments, probably how you can come from just a simple chord to stacking the instruments all together until you have a beat. So definitely it may be different, it may differ from one person to another. It may really differ from one person to another. Fred is saying, personally, I'm grateful, though new, since I haven't done this before. Fred, don't worry. I am willing to walk with you this journey and share the little information that I have, which may help you to do greater things than probably I could myself. So if you have any questions, I would. Can you do it without connecting a MIDI piano? Yes, it's possible to write, though it won't really sound natural and it will take you quite some time. But let me just write something quickly here. If you have any other question, anyone who is still watching, you could do that. So I'm just going to let me just push this bass over somewhere there. So I'm going to write the bass part. So you have inserted your instrument that you want to use there. You don't have your MIDI piano, you just want to write. Or probably you have a MIDI piano, but the ability to play, I don't know, something like that. So you just come and double click over here, this space over here, and it will give you that working space. Double click it, and we'll be in this editing window. So here in the editing window, if you come up here, you can see you have quite a number of tools here. Up here, if you want to view them in form of the piano notes, that's when you choose that. If you want to view them in form of drum notes, you choose that. If you want to view them in form of staff or score, you choose that. And if I just do this, okay, all right, yeah. So and by the virtue that you can see a stuff there, it means you can be able to make a beat and send to a person the stuff the sheet music for the music you've made. So I'm going to choose the pencil or paint tool, the paint tool here. That's the one that we use to write over here. So let me listen to what we are having here. I was playing in the key of C. Let's see. I think that's a Do. So let me see. If you press on this piano over here, this piano roll, you'll be able to hear the sounds. So assuming I want that sound over there, so I'll just come and write it over there. I've written it on the very first part, and you can sustain it if you want. So you can just pull it. Maybe up to there. And then pam 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 pam. What is that? Do ti la so. That should be a G. Let's use this G over there. Let's pull it. So I think you can see it can be done. Pam, sorry. Pam, 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 pam. Pam, 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 pam. We need to to do that so that we can be able to write. I think we go back to a C. I'll just do 4 bars. Another F. I think an E would work there. Make sure it reaches to where you want. Let's just do that. And I think we're going to put a D. I never do it this way, but since the question was asked, I think it's just prudent that I do it. And I think we need a G. There are actually people who just do it this way and they are fast, though I don't find it very natural. I could add the lower octave somewhere here. Was that a G? Yeah, so let's add another G, but a lower octave, a G. I hope it will sound okay. Yes, there you go. And of course you can decide to duplicate if it made you happy. Just duplicate it, sorry. Just a moment. Let me first merge them and duplicate. Remember we said just press D and you will duplicate, or right click and choose duplicate. So there you have. Something interesting probably that I didn't mention, don't worry, I will not go beyond 10, but if I know for some people you have already done these basic parts, we can always meet next time when we are mixing. But I wanted to mention something here. For the people who are writing, you may want, maybe, not even just for the people who are writing, you may have already played, but there's something that sounds just too, how do I say it? It's too loud. Probably the piano didn't sense the touch sensitivity as you wanted. Let me say, for example, you wanted now to take this note down. Let me first choose the selection tool or arrow tool. So this note, I feel it's too loud or it's too soft. So let's say it's too soft. Just come down here and increase the velocity. Make sure it's on the velocity section. The velocity is the volume, or let's say the pressure at which you pressed it. So I can decide to push it up. You see that? Interesting. And the volume goes up. If you want to take it down, you don't have to come and repeat the whole recording. It went down. And there's a lot you could do. Probably, let's say you wanted to record the pitch bend. So I'll just go to the beginning of your whatever track, start recording. Ready, go. And then you're just recording the pitch bend part where you want to pitch bend. you can see the graph that is being drawn there. It is the pitch bend. So I can come here in pitch bend now, where I want now to just work on the parameter of pitch bend. And you see, if I play, you can see where the pitch bend is coming. Just check down here. Assuming I didn't like that, I just can select the whole of that and do away with it. Assuming I wanted to do a pitch bend here and I forgot maybe on this note, I'll just come, maybe choose them. I don't know, you must have heard of something called how do you call it? Keyframes. And this is a terminology you'll meet both in audio production and video production. I was looking at the camera, I forgot it went off. This is something you'll meet both in audio production and video production. What is keyframes? I think it will make much more sense if I use an audio to explain it. I'm going to quickly look for some audio here. Let me see. Do we have any audio here? Okay, let me choose some Dumcha here and drag it over here. Okay, so I've dragged some track here. This is going to be quite loud. Let me just take it down. I'm going to solo that. So we want to understand what keyframes are. So I'll try and put it in words, then put it into perspective, for you to see what I'm meaning here. So when we are talking about keyframes, it means, for example, you can be able to change the volume of this track. For example, this track is a bit too loud. I could come to my mix knob and take it down. Okay, but it remains on that particular volume that I've set it to. Let me undo that. But what if now I want to change that parameter over time? For example, at 0 seconds, I want it to be at, let's say, 25 dBs. We measure volume in dBs. So let's say I want the volume to be at 25 dB, then ikiendelea kidogo, it goes to 30, then it goes, when you want it to fluctuate over time automatically. That's what we call volume automation. And here we have to use keyframes. So if it was volume that I was dealing with, and it's for this track, I make sure I've selected that track. I come up here. There's something called automation. I activate it. Once I activate it, don't worry about the processes. All the processes I'm going through here is just for you to understand what keyframes are. Once you understand keyframes, these are the things we can understand much later. So I'll come down here and I'll activate the volume parameter. So you can see there's some blue line there. So that is my volume. And you can see it is constant. It's actually at, let's see here, what did we choose? It's actually at 0. It's actually at 0, what we call unity. So let's say when we reach bar 3, I want the volume to go a bit softer. So I'll put a keyframe there. And maybe I want it to be soft up to bar 5. I'll put up to maybe the end of bar 4. I'll put a keyframe at the end of bar 4. And maybe I may decide to take it low, let's say minus 8 dB. And I also come here and put another keyframe. By just clicking, you will get a keyframe. And let's say minus 8. So this is what is going to happen. I hope you're going to listen through. I don't know if you have noticed what happened. And it's going to go up. I don't know if you noticed what happened there. We automated the volume. It started at 0. From there, it started going down up to -8. And then as it's approaching bar 5, it goes to, you get that. And this is the same thing people use when they're creating, let's say, for example, voiceovers, or you're creating, let's just say a voiceover. You have an instrumental, you have somebody's voice who is speaking. There are parts where you want the instrumental to be high, there are parts where you want the voice to be high. You will set your keyframes according to what you want. So that's what we call keyframes. And I'm just going to remove this. I'm just going to deactivate this, remove this track, and go back to our base here. Let me just double click this. So I was saying, so these are keyframes here you're setting. As you are using your what is this thing called? Pitch bend. So it was noticing that the pitch bend has gone down, it has gone down, then it has gone up. So those are the keyframes set according to how you are pushing up and down your, what is it called again? The pitch bend knob. But you can actually write it. You can write it. Let me write it somewhere here. Let me write it somewhere here for this note. But I'm going to make it quite dramatic. So, sorry about that. Let's put another keyframe there and there. So let's listen to this. Let's listen to this. Did you hear that? Let me just solo it. There was something that happened there. If you're keen, you could hear that. You heard that. It took this down in terms of pitch bend, and then took this up in terms of pitch bend. It took it up without the automation. With the automation, yeah, there you go. I think that's something I wanted to mention. You can really work on the velocity, that is the volume. Key switch, we'll talk about key switch later. Pitch bend and sustain pedal. I think those are the most important. You can even come and write your sustains here. So somebody has asked here, somebody has said, I love the bass walking style. That is Caleb. Thank you so much. So Fred is saying, you can as well transpose on site. You know, Kenya, excuse me, napenda hii word site. Tuko site. Yes, you can. So, but you'll have to do voice by voice. Remember, I'm in the key of C. Let me put it to the key of D. So you can see here on the guitar, we duplicated these segments. Let me make them as one segment. So make sure you are on the arrow tool, select the whole of this thing, right click, and then press merge events, or the shortcut is just press G and they'll be merged. Or if that could mean group to you, do that and they'll be merged. Then double click the instruments, the instrument that you're using, select all. Of course, these are basics of computer, I believe all of us know, but it's Control A. And then just the way you transpose on your piano. If you're going to D and you are in C, those are two semitones up. I'm going to use my arrow tool and go up, 1, 2. And let me play. It's going to sound funny because it's only the guitar that is in the new key. Let me take all of these things to the new key. So let's bring back our bass where it was. Let's bring back our bass there. So the only thing I'm not going to transpose, of course, is the drums. And this is the beauty of doing this thing on the DAW, because when you do it on the, okay, I'm not sure whether if you have already created a track on the piano, you can transpose without, on the keyboard, you can transpose without transposing the drums. Because when you transpose, I think it transposes even the drums. But you can let me know. I'm not well acquainted with doing it on the keyboard. So select all. These are strings. Take it 2 steps up. 1, 2. Select our bass. Take it 2 steps up. 1, 2. And now if you play it, of course, you know, we have not, and our oboe, select all, take 2 steps up. You know, a drum is an instrument without a definite pitch. So there's no need to transpose it. So, and you can hear we are in the key of D. We are in the key of D. Yes. So I think I've answered your question. You can do that. The other thing you could do, probably assuming you are doing this. Let me just use this example. If you are doing this on somebody's laptop, and you want to go and play this maybe in your own laptop, and probably you have a different software, or you don't have these instruments in that laptop, so you may want to pick them in form of sound waves, because you don't have these samples in your computer. So you want to change this MIDI information into audio, either one by one, so that you can go and mix them. So assuming I want to change this guitar into audio, I'll just select it, then right click and say bounce selection. Let's see. Yeah. So if you bounce selection, you have still your MIDI up here, and you have your audio, and you can see here, our audio is here. So whether I have these instruments in my computer or not, I can still be able to play it in any other computer, or something like that. So I think basically that's what we could say for today. We can meet next time and discuss further on how to make it better, or add some instruments, the basics of mixing, if at all we'll get to that point. Thank you so much, guys, for being patient up to this time. It's been roughly 1.5 hours. I do not take it for granted. God bless you. And if there's no question, I'll be signing out. Let me just see the people who are here so that I can give a shout out to, even as I wait for a question. I can see Hezekiah Mageto. Thank you so much for being consistent here. Caleb Masharia, thank you for being here. Thank you, Fred, for being here. Yes, from the comment section, I think those are the people I have seen. Mageto said amazing. Yeah, we give glory to God. I don't know if you have a question before I sign out. Mageto, do you have a question? Fred, do you have a question? Even if it's not a question, you could want to add something. Like you see the way Fred said, can you transpose on site? And that was something I had forgotten. Mashari, if you have something to say, you could say it now. If there is nothing to be said, then probably we could say we call it a day or a night. Thank you so much. God bless you for tuning in. We are glad that you made it here. We hope to see you in the next one.